Yeah, hello guys, welcome back. Today in our video, we are going to be talking about a wonderful, uh, a wonderful program. So actually, this program is being asked in interview. So you should try as much as you can to grab this opportunity, so that when you say it in an interview, you can just get it done. Yeah, as usual. So we are going to be walking us through solving challenges. And today's challenge is all about FizzBuzz. So FizzBuzz. So today's challenge is all about FizzBuzz. And so I can see FizzBuzz. FizzBuzz, as I say, is one of the questions being asked in an interview. So you can try as much as you can to get this problem solved. The solution we'll be doing here. Try as much as you can to understand it very well. So, and in our case, on our channel, what we used to do is we are going to bring out the questions and we are going to use the 4 steps in solving problems to solve the question. So, and this is what I've been doing always. And today we are going to do the same also. Yeah, the question says we should write a program that uses console.log to print all the numbers from 1 to 100 with 2 exceptions. So from this part, let me finish reading the question before I come out with the first step, which is understanding the question. So for numbers divisible by 3, print fizz instead of the number, sorry. And for numbers divisible by 5 and not 3, so print boost instead. So when you have that working, modify your program to print FizzBuzz for numbers that are divisible by both 3 and 5. So, and we are still told that we should still print fizz or boost for numbers divisible by only one of those. I can say that even they say there that this question is actually an interview question that has been claimed to weed out a significant percentage of programmer candidates. Wow. I can see this really kills most of the candidates. So, and it's a simple program though. So, but say going for an interview, you have a lot of things to think about. Will I be able to get this right? But you should always have the confidence. So if you solved it, you are now allowed to feel good about yourself. Wow. I can say you should be happy if you solve this. So when we finish solving this after my explanation, so as I usually say, so my way of solving might be different from the way you solve your own problem. But this is just a guideline. This is just like a guideline. So we should just try to modify this to solve any of your problems. Now, so what I understood from this question is the first thing is that definitely, of course, the input we're going to be using is a number. We know that from the question because they said we should print out numbers from 1 to 100. So it means our input should be what? An integer, a number. So, and the second thing is that we need to print a number from what? 1 to 100. So we need to print number from 1 to 100. And this can be done as we know, we can print by saying, okay, console.log. Actually, I'm not yet coding, so I'm just trying to understand the question. So we need to print out number from 1 to 100 using this input. This input we get, which is the number, so we need to use it to print numbers from 1 to 100. Now, during the course of printing, if any number or input is equal to multiple of 3 or is divisible by 3, so that is what it means. So when a number is divisible by 3, it means it is a multiple of 3. So if during the course of this printing, we print 1, we print 2, we print 3, we print 4, print 5. So, and during the course of this printing, any number from these numbers we are printing, one of them is, or more of them are divisible by what? 3. Then instead of printing out the number, I need to print out fizz. So I need to print out fizz. Instead of printing out the number, I need to print out fizz. When that particular number is what? Divisible by what? 3, or is a multiple of 3. And also, if any number is also equal to the multiple of 5, or is divisible by 5, so I need to print boost instead of the what number. And also, lastly, I need to also print FizzBuzz if any of the number is equal at the same time is equal to what the multiple is divisible by 3 and at the same time divisible by what 5. So instead of printing fizz or boost, so I will just print out FizzBuzz for that particular number. So that is what I understand from the question. So, and I can say it even shows in the question itself. You easily understand the question. Now, and I just wonder why most of the programmers fail this interview, but no problem. So let us continue. So the pseudocode, which is the second step after we finish understanding the question. So the next thing before you start coding is that you devise a plan. You bring out a plan you can use to solve this question. Since you've understood the problem, so the next thing is that you write it's just like a code, but it's not actually the code. Yeah? So it's just like code, but it's not actually the code, and you use it to what? Plan yourself, as in plan how you can solve this problem. So from this, the first one is that I'm going to get numbers from 1 to 100. So of course, I can do this by just doing console.log 1, console.log 2, console.log 3, console.log 4, 5, like that, up to 100. But this is just a waste of time. This is a waste of. I think I should show that there. I can just say, okay, console.log, I'm printing 1. So like that, and I'll copy and paste like that until I get to what? 100. So this is a bunch, lots of a work. So we are going to, what about if you want to print 1,000, 1 to 1,000? Is that how we are going to be doing? So definitely we cannot meet up with the interview. So the interviewer, we are going to be disqualified because this is not a good approach of solving the problem. So for getting number from 1 to 100, the best way was by looping. So we are going to loop it. So this first step, I think it is clear. Now the second one is if number, that means the numbers we are printing out, if any of the number is now equals to or is divisible by 3 or is equal to the multiple of 3, then instead of printing that particular number, we are going to print out fizz. And also the third part is that when also, if a particular number is divisible by 3, we print out fizz. And else if another number is also divisible by 5 or equal to the multiple of 5, then we are going to what? We are going to print out boost. And if any number also is a particular number is what? Equal to the multiple of 3 and at the same time equal to the multiple of what? 3. Or let me say a particular number is divisible by 3 and 5 at the same time. So it means that instead of printing fizz or boost, I will just print FizzBuzz. I'll print FizzBuzz. And the last part is if any of the number I'm printing out is neither divisible by 3 or divisible by 5, so or divisible by both 3 and 5, then I will just print out the normal number. So I think this is the part, the second part, the second step in our problem solving steps in solving problems. And now let us go to our coding. Let us code now. So as usual, I used to bring out, so I'll be taking the pseudocode one after the other so that you get what I'm trying to do. So I've already created a file and I name it FizzBuzz.js. So, and the first part is get numbers from 1 to 100. So I want to get numbers from what? 1 to 100. So doing that, I can just use a for loop. So for, so let I equals to 0. So let me start from 1 since I'm getting from 1 to 100. So I less than or equal to 100 and I incrementing I plus plus. Now, with this, I'm getting what numbers from 1 to 100. We can try that by just let us console.log and check console.log. So what are we consoling? We are consoling I because I is our integer, is our number, the number we want to print out. So I. So let's see this before we proceed. Good, correct. Let me open this up. So you can see our numbers are up to 1 to 100. So 1 to 100, I can see. So it means the first part of the code is what? Of our pseudocode is correct. So the first approach is correct. Now, let us clean this as this is not what we are doing. So the second part is, they said if number equals to multiple of 3, print fizz. So let me copy this and so if number equals to what? Multiple of 3. So let me use I here now, since our numbers is our I. If I equals to multiple of 3, or let me say, if I divided by 3, so is divisible, sorry, is divisible by 3, print fizz. So how can we do that? So this is, you can see this statement is just like a conditional statement. Okay, if this thing is this, so do this. So definitely we are going to use our if statement. So, and that is if, and in the bracket we are going to have our condition. What is our condition? Our condition is I want to check if I is I divisible by 3. So that means if I divided by what? 3, then equals to what? 0. It means if I is divisible by 3. So in this way, I'm going to be using modulus. So to check if probably this number is divisible by 3. So modulus, so for you to know that a number is divisible by something, it means that number has no remainder. It means that number has no what? Remainder. So that means I'm going to be using modulus to check for the remainder. So if there's any remainder, if the remainder is equal to what? 0, so definitely that number is divisible by what? 3. So let me use the script now. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to use console to print fizz instead. So we are printing fizz instead of what? I. So we save. And the next part is, let me go back to our pseudocode. Else, if the number, so again, if number, in this case I, is also equal to the multiple of 5 or is divisible by what? 5, then print both. So it means that we are going to what? Say another if else. So else if our condition I modulus 5 equals to 0, then we have to print, what are we printing? Boost. Yeah. So this is the second one. So and the third one from our pseudocode is also if number is what? Equal, if number is equal to the multiple of 3 and multiple of 5. It means that if the number is what? Equal to both, is divisible by both 3 and 5. So it means we should print out FizzBuzz. So and that also is by using an if statement. And here, what we're going to do is we are going to be testing for two cases. So two conditional statements will be here, and that is, sorry, two conditions will be inside the if block, if bracket, and that is if I is divisible by 3 I'm trying to use bracket so that, and so these are logical and I is also divisible by 5. Yeah, any problem here? Okay, I don't know this. Am I getting something wrong? Okay. So this one says it means that if I modulus 3, that means equals to what? 0. It means if I divided by 3 gives us what? 0. Meaning that I is divisible by 3. And at the same time, if this I also, that same I is what? Divisible by 5, then we should print out what? FizzBuzz. I think good. So, and the last one, if, which is this, our pseudocode is lastly, if, that means we should print out this number. That means we just print out R if it is neither divisible by 3 or 5 and or 3 and 5. So then we have console.log R. Good. So this is our code, and let's see if it actually works. Let's see. Let me close this and we try. Well, we are seeing Facebook, Fizz and Buzz. Oh, good. Let's see. Fizz. This one is correct. You know, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And we all know that 3 is actually divisible by 3. So it prints out Fizz, correct. And 4 and 5. And this is 5 here. So we write Buzz instead of 5. Since we know that 5 is divisible by 5, and this is 6 also, good. Our code, it means our code is working. Let's see for FizzBuzz. Let's see if we have any FizzBuzz. Let's see. Something is wrong with our code. Something is wrong. We did not have FizzBuzz. FizzBuzz is not showing. Let's see. Let us go back to our code and let's see where the problem is. Yeah, sorry. I observed something. So there's something wrong with our code. So the problem is, as you can see, when this one we put here, we will not, the number will not run. Why? Because when we come here, like, let's say, for example, so 45 is divisible by 3 and at the same time by 5. So it means 45 should print out FizzBuzz. But what happens here is that when we put what's it called, the divisible by 3, we put it first here. So when the code is running, when 45 starts looping, and when the number I is at 25, So it will first check this condition. And when it checks this condition, it means, okay, 45 modulus 3 is equal to, so it is going to print fizz. And that is exactly what is happening. So what we are supposed to do is that this statement here should be above. This statement here should be above. So let us bring this up and, sorry, let me copy it with the, so let us take that up and modify our code. So let us modify the code so that this should not be else if, it should be else if, and let's, so else. Now our code should work now, because now if 45 enters this loop and we test this first condition, so 45 modulus 3 and, sorry, and 45 modulus 5. So it means it's going to print FizzBuzz. So let us save and let us retry. Let's check. Correct. I can see we are having FizzBuzz. So this is 89 and this is 90. So instead of 90, so we have what? FizzBuzz. And this is 75. And you can see now. So it means our code is now working. So sorry for the earlier mistake. And this is normal. And this is normal. So and this is one of the reasons you should first do these processes, these steps before you start coding. So, and you can see I did the steps, and you know, that is the normal way I'm going to solve it. So, but when I finish solving it, I noticed that, okay, there's a problem. So what am I doing wrong? So I need to check the code again, and I see the mistakes and correct it. So before we end this class, and I would like to go back and check, because the last part of our steps is of our step is checking, as in looking back. How can you what modify, or how can you improve your code? How can I improve my code? So let me check, and if there's any way I can improve my code, I'm going to improve it. And if there's no way I can improve it, as I usually say, you can, if you have any way of improving the code, you kindly just give us a comment at the comment box, and we are going to really appreciate that. And we are all learning, and I really appreciate. So let me see. The first thing I'm going to do is that I will remove all this. Let me remove all this code, all these comments rather, so that my work will look nice.